Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. I've been feuding with this school. It's a private school in St. Louis. It's called MICDS, and it's one of these amazing institutions, a type of school that you would dream to send your kids to. And it's been around for probably over 100 years, graduated congressmen and senators and judges and people, that are respected people. And so over the past few years, I don't know how many, it's decided to change its course and go into social justice warrioring stuff on behalf of minority students. And it was brought to my attention by a friend of mine who's a benefactor. And he says, Kevin, would you want to send your kiddos to this school? And I said, he told me about the school. I said, no, I wouldn't want to send my kids to that school. They're dumbing them down and so on and so forth. And you guys have heard me talk about it. And I went and I met with the administrator. I got a good reason for telling you this story, by the way, so hang in there. So I met with the administrators and I said to them, guys, you got to stop doing what you're doing. You're going to ruin this school. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This type of thing, the social justice warrioring, it's pervasive already in schools around the country. All the public schools that you're paying for kids not to learn the things that they're going to need in life. You're paying for them to go to this leftist Montessori that says you have to look at every condition through the lens of everything you're not. So what, you're not LGBTQ? You got to look at it through that lens. So what, you're a boy? You got to look through the lens of a woman. You don't have to look at the world through the lens of a man, but you got to look at it through the lens of a woman. You got to look at it through the lens of a minority, and so on and so forth. And what they're doing is they're weakening American society. And I believe it's intentional. And at first it was just, through public schools. But now they're saying, no. This is going to go into private schools. So they got all these people. I swear to you, the industry we're talking about here, folks, is worth billions. They put I forget this one guy's name, but he's got an entire industry, 6 figures. He goes into a school, implements a program on diversity and multiculturalism, and then they come and refresh, and this guy is printing money, taxpayer money, to tell people that their kids are racist, they're homophobic, they're xenophobic, they're Islamophobic, and all these other things, and they're none of that. They're introducing kids to these concepts that the kids don't even care about. How many people have said this? You put a bunch of kids in a room together, They may laugh and cajole and tease each other or whatever, but it won't be because of racism. It'll be because, Sally's hair is this way, or so-and-so's got bigger feet or whatever. And they'll have fun with one another. And for the most part, they won't even care about that. They'll just play. They care about your interests. Do you like dolls? Do you like Pokemon? Do you like whatever, Power Rangers or whatever may be the flavor of the day? That's what they care about. And so I talk about, growing up poor. My family worked for the caretakers of a wealthy family, as caretakers rather, for a wealthy family. And that family saw the potential in me and my brother, and they sent us to a private school, much like the private school that I'm railing against right now. And I remembered my excitement at having that opportunity to go to something different that was going to be different than my friends. And they sent us booklets of the school and all that. I ended up going to the Marine Military Academy. And when my brother and I arrived at that school, it was clear to me that school expected us to earn everything we got. And I'll give you the first encounter I had. We went to football camp, uninvited. I was a freshman, my brother was a sophomore, and we were good football players. We walked down, got to the campus, didn't know where to go, asked somebody, they said, oh, you're looking for Coach Morton. We go into the gym. Coach's office was inside of this rinky-dink little gym, and there was Coach Morton, his son, and a guy named Jim Garman. And it was 3 of the biggest people I'd ever seen in my life. Jim Garman was at the school as trying to get into the service academy, trying to go to the Naval Academy. He was 6'7" and probably 280 pounds. Coach was 6'5" and used to play professional football, I believe for Baltimore. He was a coach for the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore, whatever they would call. And his son, Tom, I believe, is 6'8", probably 270 pounds. Those are the first three people my brother and I saw. And we walked in there, and Coach says this. I swear this is a true statement. He looks over. He's a former Marine Corps drill instructor, a drill sergeant. And he says, "What the heck are you turds doing here? Who are you?" And we go, we're the Jacksons. And he goes, "All right." He goes, "What do you want?" And we go, we're here to play football." And he goes, "You're here to play football?" He go, and it was a shock to him. And I can only tell you the shock to us, because he was like, "Well," he goes, "we already got the football team here. Meet your linemen," like that. And there was Garmin. And then he goes, "You might be able to be managers." So we were managers our first year on the football team, because Coach was like, I don't even know who you are. You got to earn your spot on this team. And that was the beginning. Now, we played years. I played 3 years of football after that. And my brother played 2. And we were football standouts. But I got to tell you, when I saw those 3 absolute tree toppers, I was like, I don't know that we're ready for this. I was looking at my brother going, manager sounds pretty good right about now. And he didn't argue. But, so I'm not going to bore you with much more details except to tell you this. I was tops in my class for my 3 years that I was there, full 3 years, and I probably would have been valedictorian of the school had I stayed for the entire 4th year. I left in the half of my senior year. Went back to go to my regular high school in Brady, Texas. I got degrees in electrical engineering, computer science, and math. Nothing handed to me. And I tell this story often, what happened to me at MMA. Dr. Hockaday was my physics professor. This was my freshman year at that school. Here's my physics professor. We use the same book as MIT. And I remember, God is my witness, folks. You don't have to believe this, but it's the truth. So Dr. Hockaday said, "You know what? I don't want to teach. We're going to teach out MIT, but we're going to take a standardized test to see how you guys compare with the rest of the nation." No, I take that back. The first test, we were doing the MIT book. And so he gave us a test, and I made a 92. And he wrote a half a page on how bad I was as a student. Half a page. And I was like, well, what did everybody else get? And I was one of 2 A's. Me and a guy named Jorge Elizondo were the 2 A's in the class. And Jorge got a 96 or something, which kind of made me mad because I wanted to be smarter than Jorge. So he writes a half a page novel on my blue book on carelessness because I didn't make 100. And so I was like, you got to be kidding me. So the next test we took, I don't know, a few months later or whatever, I made a 96. He wrote a 2-page essay on how careless I was and making a 96. And I called my grandmother and go, this dude is relentless. I made a 92, he writes half a page. I make a 96, which is better. He writes 2 pages. I'm not lying. I have the books. I kept them. And then at the last test, our final, he goes, you know what? We're going to do something different. We're going to take the final to compare to everybody. I want a standardized test. I was shaking taking this test because I was like, man, this dude is going to stitch us up. So I take the test. No exaggeration. I remember this like it happened minutes ago. I changed 6 answers. I got ready to hand the test in, and he looked at me and he goes, you sure you're ready to hand it in, Mr. Jackson? He had a voice like that, like old country fella. And I just zipped around, went right back to my desk, and I checked it. And I changed 6 answers and turned my test in. And it was on a Friday. Over the weekend, I was a nervous wreck because I go, man, what's this dude going to do? Long story short, he reads off every test from bottom to the top, 16 percentile, 17 percentile, 23 percentile, whatever, goes to 96 percentile, gives his test to Jorge. And I'm going, holy crap, where's my test? I haven't gotten it back. And he says with pride, and the only 100, and he looks at me and he hands me that test. I cannot tell you the amount of pride I had at that moment. But here's the bigger deal. Had Dr. Hockaday not done that to me, not written those notes, not pushed me, I would not be the person I am today. I swear I know that for a fact. He made me become better by chastising me when I did good. Me and Jorge were the only two people that ever made A's in that class under that man. And he made sure I was going to be excellent because he saw excellence in me. And I thank him for that. These people that are doing this stuff to these schools, that are making these young black kids dumb themselves down, are doing the biggest disservice to blacks they could possibly do.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.